The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. With just one race remaining before the chase begins, we have to solidify our lineup. We've come through many races this year, short tracks, road courses, speedways, intermediates, everything that you can imagine. And now we solidify our playoff situation here at the highest banks in the highest distance track, Talladega Superspeedway. Drivers fighting for their chase lives, and drivers hanging on by a thread at the track where absolutely anything can happen at any given second. Who will be fighting for the Studio Temporary Area Cup Series Championship? We'll find out in 94 laps. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of round number 12 here at Talladega for the Studio Temporary Cup Series Chase Cutoff event. It is the VAAC Esports 250 here at Talladega. I'm going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, and in the truck, Hunter Sleppy with me for the calls. Hunter, we have so many drivers fighting for their lives, hanging on by a thread, and what more stressful of a track to solidify that lineup at than a super speedway?
Yeah, it's the cream of the crop. It rises to the top, and it's going to bring out the dynamic in some of these drivers where they have to lock in, dial in, and fight for their chase lives, just trying to make it in. As we're at Talladega, and anything can happen at Talladega. Looking through our past history here, only one driver has won this place twice. Of course, it's Jake Nichols. The Nichols family, though, they've won here 3 times. Tyler Nichols had a phenomenal last lap pass in Season 6 on the final 100 yards or so to get down to the line. And then looking through, we've actually had 4 races decided by a pass on the last lap. That's happened 4 of the last 5 seasons. Ricky Springer, Spencer Burns, Tyler Nichols, and Jake Nichols last season all took it home on the last lap, and those races also had a green-white checker finish, so get some late yellows mixed in there, and it's going to bring out the crazy in the field. And there's the 30 of Jeremy Miller, and he's won in the Truck Series before all these super speedway style races, but he's looking to get a cup win on this track.
Yeah, his truck record here has been phenomenal here in 2026, but hasn't had the luck, as it looks like a new paint scheme here to showcase here at Talladega here today. But obviously we're talking about the playoff cutoff race. We do want to, of course, thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV. If it's first time, don't make it your last. Hit the like and subscribe button here. And of course, if you're watching on Twitch, consider hitting the follow and like button over there. If you subscribe for $5 a month, custom emotes, double points, turn those double points into some free merch. But let's go over where we stand heading into today. When it comes to our point standings, you can see James Scioli with a massive gap of 124 over the cut. Then you have Seth Knoll, Jake Nichols, Logan Health, and Van Drugman, who's won, 5 races on the season, or 4 races on the season, something crazy. But this is where it gets interesting, Hunter. Once you head down to, I'd say, right around Michael Curhan, only with that 21-point buffer. Sebastian Marin has the benefit of the wild card, but then you have Talmadge and Horn right there on the bubble.
Yeah, it's really close around the bubble, and we have to take into consideration Dylan Alt, because I believe if he finishes top 20 in the points tonight, with his 2 wins, he would be that 12th and final entry for the chase. Still need to get confirmation on that, but a phenomenal season he's had regardless. 2 wins to his name, but if he can get into the chase, that'd be phenomenal. But looking at the cutoff itself, not pictured, John Forbes Jr., he's only 4 points back from Connor Horn. Jacob Harberts, he's, I want to say, 15 back?
19.
Yeah, numbers are off for me. But Harberts is close. Caudle, Cabot, Tyler Nichols, it would take a miracle for him to get in. But pretty much from Adam, Cabot, Caudle, Harberts, and Forbes, they're the only ones that can try to point their way in. Connor Horn down 6 spots from a week ago, which, did he race last week? He did. He finished 24th at Kansas, and that's what brought him down 6-point positions, which is just absurd to think about, but there's still Talladega to try and rally the troops back.
Yeah, anything can happen here, whether good or bad, here over the course of 94 laps at Talladega. If you live under a rock, of course, this is the 2.66 mile track here in, what is it? It's an Air Force base. Oh my goodness, it was right at the tip of my tongue. It's an Air Force base, Hunter, and I know you're going to fill me in about a couple minutes time, in a couple seconds time, which Air Force, Anniston Air Force Base. There we go. Bill France Jr. Actually, the little interesting tidbit of information, this place was actually intended to be built in South Carolina back in the day when Daytona was built. Bill France wanted to build another one bigger and faster, wanted to do it in South Carolina, but the blue laws of, I think, selling alcohol and whatnot on Sundays, they couldn't get by him in South Carolina, so they ended up going to Alabama, getting this place built. Imagine you South Carolina folks, you could have had Talladega, but you don't here, as we have 2 minutes left here in warm-up, and that 2 minutes may be a little quicker, depending if we have any admin stuff to do in the background.
Yeah, looking through, you got some EOLs, Newbigging, Cabot. I think Van Drugman is here, or he's suspended. I could be wrong on that. Logan Helton, Ben Pierce, Seth Berger, and Sebastian Marin. They all have EOLs, so they'll be starting from the rear, which at a track like Talladega, it's not too hard to overcome. We've got a number of laps here for these guys to get back into the thick of it. 94 laps slated for us, 250 miles. It's going to be a blast, and I'm not sure what the pull time was, but I don't think they touched Cody Moore's record from Season 1 with a 51.283.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine so. Season 1 back in the Gen 6. In fact, the next gen car is by far the slowest car when it comes to single-speed super speedway qualifying, as this thing barely hits about 180 by itself. As there goes Tyler Nichols. I think you just spoke about him, who you think you said he would need a miracle to make the cutoff, but there is indeed the switch over, so that'll be our situation here. We'll head down to the grid, brought to you by Central Mobile Homes. If you're looking for a new home, shed, or Triple Crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes, proudly serving Florida customers for 30 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers available in the Bell, Okeechobee, Clueston, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomeinc.com for more info. But now, Hunter, let's go down trackside for that starting lineup.
Yeah, no surprise, Jeremy Miller on the pole, the Super Speedway King. Next to him, John Forbes Jr. going to start second, and then over in the second row, Lake Bradshaw with a pretty good starting spot in third. Next to him, it's going to be the one of Seth Knoll in fourth. Fifth, we'll find Jacob Harberts in the number 80 in the fifth position. Sixth will be Josh Caudle, 13th in the 13th car in sixth. Seventh, the number 7 of James Scioli. Next to him, Douglas Newbigging in the 71. Going to roll off 8th. 9th is Michael Curran, and 10th is Rocky Boyd III.
And back outside of the top 10, we find Frankie Barroso and Philip Groner. Barroso, one of those drivers hanging on for dear life. Reshaper in 13th, Brad Slaughter Jr. Always someone to watch out on these plate tracks. He is one to try to get that high lane rolling. 15th, we find Adam Cabot with Dylan Alt. Remember, he is in wild card contention if he can get himself in that points situation. 17th finds the Alaskan assassin Justin Anasogak with Van Drugman in 18th. And then rounding out our top 20, we have Max Service and then Tyler Nichols, the Maine native, in 20th.
And 21st will find Garrett Grant in the 5. 22nd will be Logan Helton in the 63 car. 23rd, it's David Weishart in the number 29. 24th is Ben Pierce in the number 65. 25th is Ryan Swan in the number 20. Next to him, Brent Punkari starting 26th in his number 35 Ford. Cole Hooper rolls off 27th. Next to him, Hayden Swank, 28th. 29th is Brandon Watkins, and Jake Nichols starting deep in 30th.
And that is in difficult territory. Hopefully he can get through with no issues. 31st, Seth Berger. Travis Beckner, our Hendry County boy, who's on a little bit of a summer hiatus due to this massive heat the United States is facing. Then you have Christian DeBoer and Bryce Senesac. Rounding out the field here, Jacob Bell, the boss man, Sebastian Mayer, and be fun to watch him get through the field. And then we have David Brown, Drew Jula, and Joseph Cosney. Zachary Nerney did not take to the grid, although he is registered here for the session. A bunch of EOLs, Newbig, Cabot, Van Drugman, Helton, Pierce, Berger, Horn, and Marin, which I think, like you may have already alluded to there, Hunter, if you're going to have an EOL at all, best place to have it, because let's just be real, it don't matter.
And the stats will say that it really doesn't matter. The winner can come from anywhere in this field. The pole sitter has yet to win at Talladega, fun fact, but Spencer Burns started second in Season 5 and he won, so it's not impossible to do it from the front row, but the deepest to come from the field to win was Tyler Nichols back in Season 6. He started 28th. He had an insane last lap pass in the tri-oval. Carnage ensuing everywhere, but was able to get the job done and win. Last lap passes, like I mentioned, 4 of 7 races have had them. The average for pass for the win, 2 to go. Shouldn't be a surprise there. 7 to go is when we usually see our last caution fly. Season 7, we did 3 green-white checker attempts. We used all 3 of ours and were able to finish under green, so that was awesome to see. Brad Slaughter back in Season 1, he led the most laps from a winner ever at Talladega, led 22 laps en route to his victory. The next highest would be Jordan Martin and Ricky Springer in Seasons 2 and 3. So laps led does not really matter, except you want the bonus point for that. But all that matters is leading the last lap at Talladega. And there's a number of drivers who are hungry, just looking for their first win, because this track, Corey, is such an equalizer for the field. Anyone can come from the field to win.
Yeah, especially the skill level of which area provides at a 5,000 SOF. Some of the best here in the service here at Talladega Superspeedway. Some trying to pad their chase pitcher, some trying to hang on, some trying to evade getting cut. What will happen here in the United Rentals start zone? Barney has the flag at hand. We're racing here for the chase cutoff at Talladega. Double file formation, which will be very much the name of the game here in this NASCAR Gen 6 vehicle. We're going to go door to door, trying to get some fresh air, but on that outside lane thus far, taking the advantage is going to be John Forbes. And he's outside. He needs everything he can get. He's going to have a massive push by Seth Knoll, and that outside lane's going to clear by 5 cars entering turn 3.
Yeah, I mean, they got a phenomenal start.
Oh, no!
And now we got a spin up front. It's Cardle around in front of the field. The big one's going to strike on lap 1, and the caution's out.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'll take things that weren't on my bingo card for 500, Alex. We were just getting up to speed there, and we are already down and backwards. Of course, we have no backup cars here in area, so whatever damage you get, you have to be able to fix it the old-fashioned way. Let's try to find out what transpired here. It's in this little gaggle up front, 16 into Josh Caudell. They were single file trying to blend their Hunter, and obviously not with enough space to do so.
Yeah, it was a little coagulated there with the first 5 cars or so, and you can see out the bumper here, Rocky Boyd's going to go low and just accidentally clip the bumper of the 13. The bumpers aren't really that aligned well. Sky only got a piece of it. Dylan Alt spun. He had a little tap from Brent Punkari. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a big one. Might have jumped the gun on that, but with the way that it was looking, spinning in the middle of a turn.
Skyoli.
Yeah, there's the 7. He actually got more damage than I thought. I must have suffered from another car there on that outside. But regardless, the first yellow of the day is out on lap 1. I don't think that's happened ever. I could be wrong, but shows how desperate these guys want to win. Caudle, Rocky Boyd, those guys, they qualified up front. They have yet to win this season, and Caudle, this is really going to hurt him because he entered 15th in the points. And mentioned Rocky Boyd, he's only had one top 5 on the year, so he really had a good starting spot, just trying to go for, I guess, the win or put himself in a good spot. Caudle did not get the +2. Rocky Boyd did. So pit road is open. We might see some guys come down and try to top off on the fuel.
Yeah, we will see a lot of those drivers topping off on fuel, and there's probably at least 10 drivers that are going to be getting some damage repair of some sort. Now, the beauty of Talladega is that the pace laps are going to be about 2 minutes long, so those drivers that do need to get that damage repaired will have ample ability to do so. I guess the problem is that we do have the expedited caution sequences here at Talladega, so you aren't going to be able to get that many opportunities because you're really only going to have one solid lap. You can see Jacob Harberts seems to be one of the worst there, significant left front damage. Now, we do always say there, Hunter, that the draft is the best Band-Aid. If you can manage to be fast enough to stay behind somebody, you can actually maintain good pace, but obviously you'll be hindered if you try to get out of line.
Indeed. I don't really know if we'll see much 3-wide action because, like you said, we're so used to seeing guys go 2 wide, especially here at Talladega, and kind of like real life racing. iRacing has a very good read of this track, and the sim actually kind of accurate. It's possible to go 3 wide. I'm not sure if we'll see it, especially this early after having a yellow on lap 1, but towards the end of the race, we might see some guys try to jump out of line, try to make a move, but especially early on in the going, you probably don't want to do that unless you want to go to the rear. We already saw a couple guys try to go to the outside on the first lap and had to continue to go green. I'm not sure if they would have been able to get up to the front or not, but we still have 90 laps of racing left. Some of them might be under yellow, but look it through. I got some new faces up front.
Yeah, of course, you got John Forbes. Now, Travis Beckner, he technically started this race in, 30th or something. So between, I'm assuming, missing the wreck and staying out, he is up 26 spots in a matter of 3 laps. I know that's not a stat that we put on the history list in the history books, but up 26 spots in 2.5 laps surely has to be up there with some of the best position gaining in history.
Yeah, I would say so as well, because he was one of the ones I noticed go up to the outside early in the going. One of the few cars that were trying to do so, and I mean, it worked out for him. Had guys pit in front of him, obviously, but start that deep in the field to be inside the top 10 already. That's one way to make up track position. We have the 1 to go, so we'll be able to go back green this time. John Forbes Jr. looks like he's choosing the inside lane. And Seth Knoll's going to be restarting up top.
Now the cause primarily of that wreck, outside of just fault, was I think they were trying so hard to get single file that obviously we weren't clear to get the single file at play. So, of course, a lot of team affiliations, satellite teams, all that stuff. Drivers want to work with who they want to work with. And I know some teams probably have some kind of plans of how they want to run this race. Of course, Talladega doesn't always let those plans come to fruition. You got to take what you can get when it's given to you and make the most of it. So looking up top, you have Seth Knoll, Jeremy Miller, and Travis Beckner. So no real affiliations up there on that outside lane. You can see Joseph Causey, Garrett Grant, and we'll see how that inside works. Again, Brad Slaughter, always someone to make some aggressive moves. I always love watching him. If there's any chance at 3 wide working, it's going to be out of that 8 car.
Yeah, Slaughter Gang CEO Brad Slaughter. is running third in that number 8. The numbers just always seem to align here for him. Two-time Area 500 champ. Looking to possibly etch his name into the history books as a 2-time winner here at Talladega. He's going to have a good restarting position in third behind John Forbes Jr. The pace car is going to make the turn onto pit road again. Now we'll see if the inside lane can get a better jump. The outside lane had a phenomenal initial start, but we'll see if the 8 and the 70 can hook up that inside lane and get going.
There we go, into that restart box. John Forbes with Brad Slaughter to the inside. Little bit of a stack up, but nothing that will cause too many issues. Actually, Seth Knoll with the push from Jeremy Miller will get the whole shot in the advantage at the line. But just as quickly as that happens, the inside comes surging.
Yeah, they got a good run through 1 and 2. Top is starting to build a run, though, and, well, I shouldn't be surprised because that's Sebastian Merritt and Logan Helton there on that third lane trying to get a 2-car tango working. John Forbes will jump up to the middle now and lead that line through. Now we got some more takers up on the third lane, so looks like it's starting to get moving early in the going on that third lane, led by Logan Helton.
And look at the head of steam that 63 has with the push from Sebastian Marin. I thought the 3 wide was going to come from the number 8. No, it's going to come from the 63 and 66, and we are under caution again. Christian DeBoer in a less than favorable position appears like a solo incident.
We got a little bit closer that time to completing a lap under green. And, wow.
That was, we'll dissect that a little further before we place judgment. Who was that orange car? That was Dylan Alt. Did he think he was clear?
Yeah, I'm
get one more perspective.
confused on that one.
We'll get one more perspective of that from the 47's POV. I'm going to plead the 5th.
I will not. I believe that he was trying to get in line because he didn't see the outside as a solidifiable lane to be in at the time. And my guess is that he just tried to get in line and just misjudged it with the 55 at DeBoer. But I believe that will be +2 to him, and it will. So 2 incident points to Dylan Alt.
So the trends of the race, as you so eloquently described earlier. Now we've had, let's just say Tuesdays have been, the trend has gone whatever it is at about 10, and that's where the caution count is. Thursdays, whatever the trend is, actually it tends to be right on the cusp. The Cup Series really tends to be flip a coin. Sometimes we're over trend, sometimes we're right at trend. Here is Jeremy Miller and a whole bunch of drivers heading to pit road here. Now we are 6 laps in, so this is a little bit interesting to be in pit road right now. Obviously these guys know their windows way better than we do. I don't have an exact number. I'm going to just use estimates of the past and assume that our pit window is going to be probably around 38 to 43 laps, something like that. I think tends to be the average. So obviously they know their windows, and that little bit of extra fuel, they obviously found reason for it.
Yeah. It seems like that they're hoping that we could get a long run going and try to split up strategy under green. It's going to pay more dividends if you're behind the leader than leading the pack, as you're going to burn more fuel leading up front rather than riding in the back and coasting. Well, I shouldn't say coasting, but just riding the draft.
Well, this gives us opportunity here in the VAAC Esports 250 here at Talladega to talk about some of our area partners here as the season is starting to already come to a close. Blue Tip Pool Builders. I know the summer is in full swing, so you can head to Blue Tip Pool. You can head to bluetippools.com, maybe not to get your pool open, but to get it maintenanced and serviced for the season. and get your dynamic lounging area, outdoor kitchen up and ready for the holiday and summer season here to have the most entertaining space possible. So head to bluetippools.com. Ryan Swan currently in the 9th position there in that number 20.
Yeah, he'll be vying for a playoff spot or playoff chase spot tomorrow night in the Truck Series, and this is usually his forte, the super speedways. He finished second to Jeremy Miller at Daytona, so he's looking to avenge that possibly tomorrow. So a little bit of a practice run today on the Cup side of things, as he's jumped up inside the top 10 after 2 yellows and different pit strategies going on, or should be getting the one to go this time through.
Yeah, typically, again, short caution sequences here at Talladega. This is all, I mean, if there's good news for anybody, it would be those drivers who have all the pit road repairs to be done towards the back of the field. Obviously, some drivers who are involved in that first melee, this is just more opportunity for them to get those cars fixed. One car that I want to check out, namely, as we saw, was Jacob Harbert. So A+ pit crew there. We saw how damaged that left front was on the 80, and they got that thing serviced up. Basically, they serviced it up so well they had time to paint it.
Yeah, having another yellow after the first one definitely helped. So come back in, make some more optional repairs, I would assume, and just like that, right back in the running. Still has a shot. John Forbes Jr. gonna restart as the leader once more, and someone is heading to the infield. Is that the 47? I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah,
I don't know. It might be Cole Hooper.
Yeah, that does look like Cole Hooper running the. Of course, there was never a Battle of Daytona. Used to have the Battle of the Beach layout. There never was a demo at the Dega layout, whatever you want to call it, but he was running down there where it would be. Interesting little tidbit. That version of Daytona technically exists in an alpha build that they never released to the public. Kind of a little sad, because that would have actually been kind of fun to have that Battle at the Beach layout, but we digress. We may be getting into filler talk if this race heads at this trajectory. We still have yet to complete, I believe, 1 full lap of green flag racing, but this, friends and folks watching here with us on PTR TV and on Area iRacing Twitch, this is the lap that we will get ourselves up and getting some flow here to the VAAC Esports 250. Forbes to the inside, Knoll to the outside. Marin and Helton comprise of row number 2 into the United Rentals restart zone again, and back on the power. And let's try this again, Hunter.
Try it once more. The green flag's back in the air. In the outside lane, once again, gets a good launch going into turn 1. Seth Knoll going to be leading that lane through. Sebastian Marin's right behind him, though, so probably going to be a little more evened up. The inside lane, though, is coming back. Logan Helen to the bumper of John Forbes Jr. Garrett Grant up here. Haven't mentioned his name all night. He's third on that inside line.
And this is the pushing. This is not drafting. This is straight just pushing, and we wonder why there is a little bit of instability amongst these drivers. We are going as hard as we can physically go, and these drivers know the boundaries. They can go full push around all 2.66 miles here at Talladega. Seth Berger, either voluntarily or not, he is falling to the back of the pack here, as I don't think falling to the back is actually the worst call at this point. Taking lap number 10, and we are still side by side. Actually, Seth Knoll getting the lap led at the stripe.
But on top of that, we're still green flag racing too, and now Sebastian Marin's going to diamond down to the bottom and have Michael Curran give him a good old shove going into turn 2 and down the back, and Sebastian Marin's in control of the lead. Led the most laps at Daytona. Did not get the result that he wanted, though, so maybe a little bit of a vengeance here at Talladega as he leads the field into turn 3. Seth Knoll giving him a push. Curran, other car on the bottom lane, to give him a tap as Marin blocking both lanes. They're trying to. Coming out of turn 4, he won't be able to this time. Here comes Knoll with Bryce Senesac.
Yep, and this is the nature of Talladega. As you get to the outside, you get side by side, but you're able to side draft your way in but it's very difficult with the way the arrow works. There's not a lot of side force. There's not a lot of draft cone, so to speak, coming off the right rear to get that third lane work. And Sebastian going to go to the top of the track, go in front of Seth Knoll, opening the door for Michael Curhan, as well as John Forbes, who is now trying to push the 24 to P1, now opening the door for himself.
Yeah, former champion and Michael Curhan running ninth in the point standings. Only 4 top 10s to his name this year, but he's really consistent and still looking for his first win. Could be a good time to get that done today, although I'm not sure if he'll lead this time through. It's going to get bottled up on the bottom as Marin's going to come back on the outside with Seth Knoll this time through.
And he will go to the bottom of the track. That opens the door for Seth Knoll to now own the outside lane. Bryce Senesac now going to go shift his way up there. Now Marin going to go to the top of the track, doing the traffic cop, playing the lanes. I think he's trying to stay in front of the 1. That seems to be his goal, at least at present here on lap number 12. Whenever he clears, he goes up, finds the 12, rather finds the 1 on that outside lane. Curhan with the push from the 70, then Helton back there. There's Garrett Grant on the inside. There's the Alaskan Assassin, Van Drugmond. Starting to see the comers and goers here, which is normal here at Talladega.
Yeah, especially in a tight pack like this one. Really hard to make up positions when there's no third lane, so you got to do what you can in the lane that you're in, whether that's the inside lane or the middle lane or the outside lane in this case. So I'll go with Ryan Swan in the 20. Mentioned him having a solid showing tonight, running inside the top 10. Started all the way back in 25th, has worked his way up towards the top 10, avoiding the carnage. And with the different pitch strategies there, actually going to lose some spots there. Really bottled up on the bottom there. That's going to allow the top to pull immensely. Senesac's actually going to go low, try to get a good position on Sebastian Marin. He's now going to be leading the inside lane, although coming off turn 4, Marin's going to be leading that charge.
And we have, oh no!
That's Jake Nichols in the wall.
We stay
Someone
green.
else disconnected. I'm not sure who that was.
I think
but
it was
right in front of him.
I think it was Rocky Boyd who had a very quick disconnect here. May not have been. Let's see. Yes, it was Rocky Boyd who moved up the track, and then I believe he did the old Alt F4 to evade further incident here. Let's go back to Jake Nichols. Yeah, kind of missed it. I'll check one more time here. We still are live under green. Watch the 16 on the bottom of the racetrack. For some reason or another, maybe he thought he was clear. He was not. And then just disconnected out of the world. But Jake Nichols unable to evade a lot of damage there. Luckily for him, no playoff stress there. He is well in it.
Meantime, Van Drugman has now moved to the charge on the inside lane. Seth Knoll possibly going to lead this time through. It's going to be very close, but he will just by a front bumper. Van Drugman trying to sweep both Super Speedway races on the Cup side of things. The Area 500 winner. How did the season get off to a great start? Looking to carry some momentum into the chase, not the playoffs. So he's trying to come up. He won't be able to do so. Knoll with a strong run on the outside. He's got Justin Kogak behind him for number 69.
And I don't know if it was a direct implication of that little incident that occurred, but we now have 2 separate packs. Last in this lead draft is going to be Ben Pierce in the 65. Then we'll have to go back another second to Frankie Barroso. Only about 8 cars or 6 cars in this mix. They are about a second back, and they're not there. They go back to double file. There's still a chance they can catch up. But it's going to get harder and harder each lap. They will need the help of a caution flag. But we are, I don't want to say calming out, because when you see this tight of racing and all this up and down with bumping all through this racetrack, I don't want to call this calming down, but things are starting to slowly stabilize.
Somewhat starting to stabilize. Van Drugman now on the outside lane. Seth Knoll still leading the charge on the bottom. Trying to get a good run through the turn is Drugman, although he's got no one behind him. And he's going to fall back with Hannah Stogak. And you got Travis Beckner there on the outside. And forget that, Sebastian Marin just went up top. He's going to try and lead this lap, and I think he will. The outside lane now has life.
The hell yeah, man. Trying to hell yeah from that outside lane. We're trying to push Van Drugman. Van Drugman will clear. He'll go to the bottom in front of Seth Knoll. And now the Assassin will push Sebastian Mayer and give him the shot through the corner, trying to get some push from Beckner to get that outside lane chewing here, which it usually does. There goes Marin to the bottom. Now I think the 28 and the 69 will be looking pretty here. And you can already see just since that move to the bottom, those top two tandeming, but now they run out of steam.
Yeah, Marin's going to go top. Drugman's going to stay on the bottom. We got little pieces of a third lane coming through and starting to grow more and more as Marin continues to lead his way through. And Sogak now going to be leading in the middle lane, but all the way up top, Brandon Watkins in the 22 car with Adam Cabot behind him. A couple others starting to form that third lane.
Which they'll need a lot of help to do that. And look at the run on the bottom of the racetrack now. Seth Knoll, he is going to have a head of steam here. Has a little bit of a gap. Now he'll have some Mo, but does he have help behind? He does in the form of Senesac. But Senesac's going to beat him to the outside lane. Unfortunately, Senesac doesn't have the help. That'll allow Curhan to follow through and fill in the gap. So Senesac just not going to be able to stabilize that run, but now he'll have the push from Anna Sogak. They're about 6 car lengths back now on that outside lane. Marin getting the push from Van Drugman, two of the dominators here on the season, but now Van Drugman pulling out a line by himself. He'll get the lap led at the line.
And just like that, the outside lane's got life again. Nolan Drugman actually went back to the bottom. Noel's going to go up top. He sees the 09 of Stanislac coming through with Anna Sogak, so he's going to get a push, some momentum down the back. The one's going to try and get back into the lead, and he will. Anna Sogak giving the big push to Bryce Stanislac there. Those 3 cars in the middle working their way through 1, 2, 3.
Now we have, well, just as I said, we had a little single file train. Travis Beckner pulls to the bottom of the track. He goes door to door, doesn't really have the help yet, waiting for Van Drugman to get to him, which they're now linking up, has a little bit of work to do. Look at Philip Groner in the 11. Look at the boss man, Jacob Bell. He has himself here in the top 5, top 6, top 7, top 8, wherever it shuffles out. And then our season 1 champion, David Weishart in the 29. Trying to have some good luck here late in the season. Senesac gets pushed to the apron, luckily able to control it.
Yeah, a bit of a wonky bump there from Beckner to Bryce Senesac, but nonetheless, the 09 car is leading here at Talladega. Senesac on the bottom. He's going to try and get another push from Travis Beckner, hopefully this time better, through the backstretch into turn 3. And we mentioned Jacob Bell up there inside the top 10. He didn't even know if he was going to be in this race tonight. He was traveling around the world earlier today at Disney World, but he was able to come back all in one piece and got home just in time. And now Senesac's going to lead this lap here, but here comes Seth Knoll on the outside with just Anna Sogak.
Well, if he just went across Epcot all over the world, he is surely cultured for the various events that'll happen here at Talladega. We'll get Weishart to his arrears. Who else is up there of note? David Brown, don't talk about him too often. He's up there. Logan Helton, of course, he was up there earlier. Dylan All involves a driver who we talked about a few times with damage, who has recovered quite nicely. Jacob Harberts, he's right there on that bottom lane in front of Garrett Grant. He had some massive damage from that first caution, but again, they have got it all sorted out and repaired here. As there goes the 11 of Philip Groner. So they always say you can't pass here in the next gen, but we're seeing guys come and go through the field. Just kind of seems to be a zigzag approach. You get to the top, you go to the bottom, you get to the top, and you just see where it ends up.
Yeah, Groner's been able to get himself inside the top 5 there. Second car on the inside lane behind race leader Seth Knoll. Jacob Bell jumped up to the top 5 spot. Second car in line with just Anna Sogak in front of him. Behind him, though, we find David Weishart and David Brown. A couple of Davids behind Jacob. Starting to get a good push down the back and try to get him set up for turn 3. That is Anna Sogak leading that outside lane, trying to do so, but top 2 cars have broken away. They're clear now if they want to go up, and Senesac trying to make it 3.
And now usually the checkups happen on the bottom lane, but the top caused the checkup there, and that allowed Beckner to go to the outside. Van Drugman really squeezed the gap there to fit into the line, and now Travis Beckner, I don't think he went 3 wide, or maybe he did, or maybe he got forced up there. Regardless, he finds himself in the third lane, but with no help. He is Akon. He is so lonely with nobody to call his own, dropping to the back.
He's going to watch everyone go by him as they continue to do battle, and actually he'll get help finding his own in line. Looks like Dylan Alt is calling him his own, so interesting game. Van Drugman still leading the way on the bottom, and then you got Philip Groner third in line there on the bottom. Well, here comes Van Sogak and Jacob Bell trying to generate a run off turn 4. Here comes Van Drugman trying to take the lead from Seth Knoll.
I'm very curious how many lead changes we're going to have in this race at the end. Put it in chat if you get yourself the correct number. Send us an email. If you're watching this whole race flag to flag with us, what do you think the lead change number is going to be at the end? If you hit it on the number, we'll send you some PTR TV stickers in the race. So put your guesses in chat. It has been a lot. There goes Van Drugman to the top of the racetrack. Opens the door for Seth Knoll, but there's no help down there. Remember, we did have some varying strategies under these cautions, so we do have drivers with different available fuel loads. Jacob Bell having the most fuel, but then you have Seth Knoll hasn't been to pit road. Michael Curhan. If we keep going green for about 15 more laps, we're going to have some interesting situations happen. But can we go 15 more laps? We've gone about 15 right now. We'll see as this race continues on. And worth noting, our second pack, remember they were about a second off of the lead. Well, that second that they were behind has now went up to 4 seconds. They are going to be praying for a caution.
Yeah, they're not entirely out of it. I think we'll still get at least one more yellow before this one's all said and done. Meanwhile, Van Drugman continuing to lead the way, and Sogak, Jacob Bell, the top 3. Then behind them, David Weishart, Seth Knoll, door-to-door for 4th. Knoll's trying to get a run with Philip Groner on the bottom. Third lane trying to spark some life again, but Jeremy Miller is actually leading the charge with Brandon Watkins, Travis Beckner. So it looks like they're starting to make their way up towards the top 10 and then some. They are rolling right now on board with Watkins.
Yeah, they get that speed built up on that outside lane, 190 miles an hour. I think this next gen will top out right around 200, but this is the best of the third lane. Has got Van Drugman up to block the third lane, kissing the wall there off the corner, but we all carry on. That was a risky move by Van Drugman.
Yeah, quite dangerous to make a block there coming out of turn 2, and they're still not squared up, the 30 and the 56. If they're not careful enough, it might cause a wreck. Meanwhile, Seth Knoll coming through on the bottom. Drugman finally clear from Jeremy Miller. And just like that, all of a sudden, we have 3 lanes on the racetrack, and Jeremy Miller leading the top, Drugman in the middle, Seth Knoll on the bottom, but it'll be the 30 of Miller leading up the line.
Now, I hesitate to wonder if there's any form of handling here at play. And the only reason I say that is because even though we're at Talladega, the track temp is 115. So I wonder if any amount of that is coming into play here, because that's usually what makes the third lane work. But I'll tell you, Van Drugman with some massive elevator move blocks there. Luckily, we got through it, but Jeremy Miller with the push from the 22 gets the lead. Miller all the way to the top of the track, and Van Drugman all the way to the bottom. That's almost a Talladega slide job there, dive bomb move, so to speak. But it seems like that 30 really wants to run the wall. He voluntarily went up there.
Yeah, as long as he's got someone behind him, they're going to give him a good push, and he knows how to get his way around the super speedways, and might not have led that lap there, but he knows where to put his car on the racetrack and when to do it when it matters most. And well, now we're a little tight bunch, 3 wide action here. Seth Knoll trying to block all 3 lanes is going to be hard to do so. Drugman's coming back on the bottom, and Jeremy Miller once again, he's leading that outside lane, trying to generate a run with Travis Beckner behind. They're going to be door to door now for the lead into 3, and they're going to go low. The 22 and the 1, they're going to go low on the bottom. Miller's actually going to go to the middle. And now Travis Beckner is going to be leading that outside lane.
And will it get the same run that it got last time? Who is pushing Travis up there? Let's try to figure out if we can. I think that's Adam Cabot. Yes, it is. That push from Jeremy Miller, that push from Brandon Watkins was just absolute legendary. Got that third lane moving better. Does Travis Beckner have the help to try to replicate that? Right now, doesn't seem to be the case. He's going to abort, go down to the middle lane in front of David Brown and behind David Weishart. But Seth Knoll will go back to the lead, back to the point here, taking lap number 30 in the Area Cup Series Round 12 Chase Cutoff race. By the studio temporary, Sebastian Marin down to the flat, along with Philip Groner. I believe Philip Groner may have expired an engine, perhaps over pushing in the draft.
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke coming out of that car. We usually don't see that here. So it's a bit unfortunate that it's happened to the number 11, and especially where he was running that in the pack.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Sebastian. I mean, that was a gutsy move, but he really didn't have a choice, and that's what happens. You know, you have to maintain that engine temperature. You have those gauges, you have a red light flashing, but sometimes when they're this tight, even though you know you need to pull out a line, sometimes you just don't have enough space to.
Indeed, and Bryce Denethek was the one that tapped him first, so I'm not sure if he's got any optional damage there on the front of his 09 machine, but nonetheless, they kept it green. About a complete 30 laps here. Seth Knoll leading the way on that outside lane as the third lane has dissipated, so now everybody is running door to door now, or at least one the inside lane or the outside lane. As we saw from the back bumper there, Travis Beckner looking at the front of Bryce Senesac. Anna Sogak still giving one a shove. Jacob Bell, David Weishart, and Jeremy Miller rounding out the top five.
And this is the kind of stuff you got to watch out for, and we can't see it necessarily on the dash. The actual temps don't transpond for us, but you'd see that water temperature, that blue number, it says 200. Of course, in the actual car, that number will be flashing, and at the realistic temperatures, I want to say it's, actually, I don't even know what it is anymore because it's been so long since I've raced, but you flash, and from what I was told, you can flash that number for about half a lap, and after that, you better get some oxygen, because otherwise your Philip Groner situation will replicate. But we have a little bit more spacing out now. Van Drugman all the way to the top of the racetrack. Something with Dylan Alt there slicing and dicing into the middle. But we now have a slight breakaway of 5 cars. Now, I know that's going to last for about 0.3 of a second, but it's the case for the time being.
Yeah, everybody's kind of moving around. Not sure if that's because pit stops are coming up for some of these guys and they want to get lined up with the proper people, but it's definitely gotten a lot more. Business has picked up. It's pretty much what's happening. The one now going to block the bottom. Beckner and Miller, just a massive run. Beckner's going to take it to the top. And the one's trying to block him. Beckner won't be denied, at least for now. He's got no one behind him, though. Noel could have come through in the middle, and Miller going to lead the way on the bottom. Van Drugman's coming to pick up Travis Beckner, and all of a sudden we got 3 lanes again.
This just goes against next-gen etiquette and what we've known of this next-gen car. These drivers are making it work. That's an elevator move. Jeremy Miller goes up to take the run off of Seth Knoll. These drivers have that timing down pat. And I just hope that they keep that timing down pat so that we don't have any issues later in the race. Practicing those up-down moves. Joey Logano, master of those elevator top-to-bottom blocks. But here comes Seth Knoll by himself. Does the side draft, gets to the lead, pulls away to break the side draft, and then tried to clear himself. That would have been a masterful single-car pass, but ran it just a little bit short. Here comes Anna Sogak to give him the relief.
Yeah, Noel coming through in the middle, and that third lane starting to fade just a bit. Van Drugman now going to be leading the way in that number 56 up top. Below them, though, Seth Knoll in the middle, Jeremy Miller on the bottom, and Miller with some help in Adam Cabot, giving him a good shot down the back, trying to stay up with the leader, Seth Knoll. However, just Sogek, he's been up here a lot. He's trying to get back to the bumper of Knoll. He won't be able to do that. Van Drugman with Travis Beckner coming through on the top, making a run at it for the lead, and almost went bad. Van Drugman saved it. They're still trying to gather themselves coming out of 4.
Yeah, we saw that happen, just the push, and Van Drugman all the way to the top. Massive wiggle. Luckily, they were all spread out enough to where Van Drugman and company had enough time to save those cars, and we keep ourselves under green flag conditions. Jeremy Miller going to take the temporary lead, and I'll say temporary because not the studio temporary, but temporary because everything has been short-lived. Dylan Alt back up to the 3rd spot, at least for the time being. Seth Knoll up there. Jacob Bell still doing a good job. He is in the top 10, and now Seth Knoll looking to the top as Travis Beckner, single car pass attempt to the bottom of the track, but with that help from Dylan Alt pushing Jeremy Miller, that will not work.
It will not work, but a lot more spaced out these guys are starting to get as Dylan Alt has come from the back to the front, and don't forget that Seth Knoll's gone from the middle to the bottom trying to get a run, and he's going to try to settle in line with Travis Beckner behind, trying to get him to shove, but all of a sudden now business is picking up again. Guys are getting runs, they're checking up, and Jeremy Miller once again still leading it through, but props to Dylan Alt on the 47. He was involved in that lap 1 incident and then had another moment there for the second yellow, but he's made his way back inside the top 5, and he's kind of moved Jeremy Miller out of line. He's going to try and lead the middle line now as Miller is going to be on his lonesome there for now in the 3rd lane. Beckner going to go to the lead, though, getting around Seth Knoll.
These cars will look like we're out of Bristol when we're done with the amount of bumping and beating and banging we're seeing, but some masterful driving. Again, a lot of risks being played, but you also have to remember what's at stake. Many drivers trying to get into the cutoff, a lot of drivers trying to hang on to the cutoff, some drivers trying to race their way into victory lane to get a wild card position. A lot at stake here, going for a very, very prestigious Area Cup Series championship. Here is Anna Sogak with a wiggle off the corner, and he will recover and maintain position, but that was a moment.
Yeah, big moment for Anna Sogak, 25th in the point standings, and again, bread and butter, these super speedway races. He's been up here for the majority of this race. He knows what to do to get the job done. He's won in the lower series a number of times in the super speedway category, but in the cup level, I don't believe he's won yet, so he's looking to scratch that one off, especially here at Talladega. He has yet to win here. But he's running really good in second right now. He's been given bumped at the right time, and again, just putting himself in a good spot. He's got Dylan Alt behind him. Jacob Bell door-to-door with Weishart, and then they're 3 wide right around where Logan Helton is in the 63 car, but there's Jacob Bell. He's going to go to the bottom. David Weishart's going to go with him, and the boss man all of a sudden in a good spot, but that outside lane getting the 1 back into the lead.
Yeah, no, he will go in the middle of the racetrack now and up to what should be P3. I think Jeremy Miller in the middle line going to be right behind the boss man in the number 6, giving him the push. Highest Jacob Bell has been here on the day and maybe all season. Now he's going to be nearly in a 4 wide pickle, and we're wrecked.
There's the big one. Maybe. No, it's still a few cars, but the yellow is back out again. That happened right in the front, and somehow it didn't turn into the big one. It was only a small one.
Yeah, nothing that was absolutely cataclysmic, but indeed something that will shake up the race a little bit here. What happened? Something with... so we're here. Now we're 4 wide, and the 69, the 30, and I think the 6 were just squeezed together in a 4 wide. Let's see, right here is the point of contact. I mean, 69, you could say maybe he washed up, but I just don't think that they were ready to be 4 wide or 3 wide at that moment. And I didn't really see any big junk hits from anybody. We know how versatile these next gens are. We've seen how Jacob Harberts has recovered. So I think everybody with a couple minutes of repair should be able to continue on.
Yeah, I would say even Jacob Bell, who was right in the middle of that, he got he got hit a good bit, but it wasn't hard hits. It was like slight hits, although he's got some damage to the rear bumper, it seems. But they're all going to be coming down pit road, or at least they should. If they don't, it's going to be really intriguing, to say the least. But I think everybody's going to come in, make us 2-tire? No, I think everybody would do 4.
Yeah, we
might see some 2-tire stops.
We were right at the end of the fuel load there, pushing 40 laps for many, some for pushing 30 laps. So this is the perfect opportunity for many drivers to get back into a normal strategy here, get into, even keel with those in front, those behind. I think 4 tires would be a logical call because you have to wait on the fuel anyways. But maybe some of those drivers who pitted before and had a little bit more fuel, maybe they can take the risk. There goes Van Drugman, Seth Knoll, Jeremy Miller with an extended stop. Not sure if he had acquired any damage. Oh, yeah, he was involved in that. So, yeah, he probably has some front-end damage. As we approach, in just a few laps, the halfway point in the VAAC Esports 250. So with this being the case, again, we wanted to thank a couple other of our partners here with Area and Michael Curhan, the one that I always love to bring up for this moment, because in his driver photo, he has the hat on, and you can too. If you go to shop.areairacing.com, you can have high quality merch at low prices from their selection of t-shirts, hats, Adidas brand clothing, and other accessories, all rebranded for 2026 via the Studio Temporary rebrand. Easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.areairacing.com and help support Area for the rest of this season as well as future endeavors. The rumors are on the table for what 2027 will entail. We know nothing other than the fact that it's probably happening. Nothing in concrete there, but always consider helping out with the league.
I'll say even I know nothing.
All I heard was March. That's all. Jacob Bell put it in public chat, so I think it's fair enough to say he said March-ish. So there you go.
All right. Fair enough. That might answer some questions for some people, but want to go back to that last yellow. There were no incident points given out for that. It was deemed a racing deal, and that to me is the right call. But Germany was kind of put in a tough spot. 2 cars convening on the outside and inside of him. So unfortunate for him to be put in that pickle. But I think everybody from that wreck is still in the race. I don't think anyone has disconnected yet. But we do have the 1-to-go signal. So we will be going back green this time through over the third of the way mark. Only 3 yellows for tonight's race at Talladega, and looking back to the numbers, we usually have 4 yellows, and I don't think we're done with our yellows.
I'd be very surprised if we were. Now, if we think of the race in this category, in this perspective, we are at 53 to go, so there will be at least 1 more required pit stop. Now, whether that be a green flag stop or a caution flag stop, we'll see what happens, but we know they'll need to top off 1 more time. I'd say we've had about 10 cars here today have some issues of sorts. A lot of drivers peeling to the back of the field here. You have Travis Beckner. Here's Tyler Nichols, Frankie Barroso. Presumably all these drivers had some damage at some point. You could see the damage still on the 22. I'd be interested to see if he could still maintain draft, but we won't have to wait too much longer because we're in 3 and 4. Knoll and Van Drugman will lead us down on the front row.
Yeah, and again, the outside lane, it's been the lane to be in tonight for restarts or for initial starts, as they've just been able to get going better. And the inside lane, for some reason, doesn't matter if you're leading or not, they haven't been able to get going. They don't have a lot of momentum on the initial start or the restarts of the race, but I believe Van Drugman is the control car.
I believe he is to that outside lane, holding a little bit more pace. And we are going to do something very, very risky here on this restart. And we are going to go temporarily Loud Engines. All right, we have successfully did a temporarily loud engines without causing a caution flag, which, as you know on PTR TV, usually is always a trigger to have an issue, but we have evaded it here as we've now passed the halfway point in the VAAC Esports 250. Seth Knoll is taking advantage of the situation with the push from Van Drugman. Adam Cabot going to the inside with Sebastian Marin to his arrears. And now Jacob Harbert's the highest he's been since his issues. A little bit of a door tap from the 83 of David Brown. Drew Jua to the outside. Cole Hooper having some connection massive issues. And he's still not back. Hopefully that does not cause any problems.
Yeah, a bit of a moment there for the inside, or the middle, I should say, and then the outside lane. A lot going on there, but it's business as usual for Seth Knoll today. He's back up front. This time he's got Adam Cabot to his outside. Van Drugman pushing Cabot as well. Sebastian Marin, though, well, he's going to be leading that inside lane now. Knoll trying to block the middle lane. Marin's trying to get a run now. He's got David Weishart behind him. Michael Curhan also on that bottom lane. But into three, it's the one of Knoll. He's going to go back down low. Cabot's going to be leading that middle.
And we in the middle lane, and thus far talked about whether some drivers were going to be able to hang on with damage at this juncture in the race. Everybody has been able to stay in the lead draft as Seth Knoll taking advantage, heading all the way to the back of the pack. There was a couple drivers back there I was worried about. Thus far, hanging on by a whisker. Last in line is Tyler Nichols, who may not hang on, but he is for now. But there is Adam Cabot up front with the push from Marin. He is slideways trying with all his might to hang on through those pushes from Marin. In the lead for now, but here comes the one who, every time he loses the lead, he's able to get it back, sometimes by himself. He seems to know this draft like the back of his hand.
Yeah, Seth Knoll, he's been really good today, and it's shocking looking at the list that he hasn't won at Talladega. He's won the Area 500 before, but he has yet to win at Talladega. Trying to get that checked off the list as well. He's going to drop down low. Cabot went up. Drugman's going to push the 17 through. Marin, they're going to touch, actually. I think they just made contact down the front stretch, and going in the one now, the 8 of Brad Slaughter is going to have his run blocked by Van Drugman.
Oh, that was not a solid push from the 8 of Brad Slaughter to the back of Van Drugman, but Van Drugman able to hang on. Here's Curhan on the bottom of the track. Massive push to the back of David Weishart, and a lot of energy changes going on, a lot of pushes, and Sebastian Marin kind of falling in the sucker hole in the middle there. Now Drew Jua, highest he's really been today. And now Joseph Cosney, that 88 Snickers car. First time he has seen the P1 spot. Will he lead at the stripe, though? Just because you lead here does not mean you get the lap led. As Talladega, we all say it. And I think he'll pull it off.
Yeah, Dylan Alt jumped down in line there. He's going to get a run from Seth Knoll in the middle, and then to the outside now it's Sebastian Marin leading the way through. And he's got Van Drugman pushing to him after he blocked a run from the 8 of Slaughter. Cabot's going to come up in front of Dylan Alt. And now we're 3 wide for the lead down the backstretch as Causey leading that middle lane, or leading the bottom, starting to lose ground to the middle lane of Cabot, who's also losing ground now to the outside lane of Sebastian Marin.
You can see that 70 car, I believe our pole sitter, if I'm not mistaken, of John Forbes. He's about 8 cars in the back now, 8 cars behind, trying to work his way back up front. But Seth Knoll now looking to the outside, doing that masterful side draft to the right rear, pulling back Dylan Alt, now getting in the direct toe of Adam Cabot. And I think as soon as he clears, he's going to drop it to the bottom of the track. I thought he was, but he's not. He's going to stay in the toe of the 17, and with the push from Sebastian Marin, good company to have. Dylan Alt will try to get the bottom rolling.
And now the one's going to go low, and Juju is going to go low as well. The number 96 looking to have a solidifiable shot here at Talladega. It's inside the top 5, having a solid showing, but behind, well, Dylan Alt's coming down low now, but I was going to say behind him, there's no one. That middle lane is really stacked up compared to the bottom. Although those 3 cars are really close nose and tail, they're going to have something for Adam Cabot. Sebastian Marin, Drugman going to come down low. He's going to scoot by it. He's going to steal this lap as he leads on the bottom lane now, and he's going to come back up, block the middle lane, back to the bottom. He's trying to be like Dale Jr. out there.
Absolutely. Just put him in an elevator and let him press all the buttons and let him stay there all day. Play the elevator top to bottom moves. And one of the most important parts of what these drivers are doing now. This is for fun. It's for laps led. It's for experience, but it's also to learn what you need to do at the end. Where do you want to be in those last 5 laps? Do you want to be up front? Do you want to be in second? Do you want to be in about 6th or 6th to 8th? I really don't know where to be, but this is the best proving ground. This is the best testing ground for the end of the race. I really don't know where you want to be. It seems you can go from 1st to 8th back to 1st in about 2 laps.
Well, I can tell you, you don't want to be upside down on the last lap when it matters most. As Travis Beckner with Logan Helton. Oh my gosh, they threaded the needle there. So
43 to go, guys. 43 to go.
I mean, just phenomenal work here from these guys, keeping it green for the time being. A lot of close calls, but we haven't had our big one yet. A lot of small wrecks, but no big ones that's taken out contenders yet. But Travis Beckner leading the way through. Logan Helen now trying to get a run on the outside lane from Manasogak. And then behind them, Jake Nichols in the 73. He hit the wall hard early in the going, and he's back inside the top 10 now, having a solid shot at possibly becoming a 3-time winner at Talladega.
Yeah, he had, I think it was Rocky Boyd having issues, and he got the short end of the stick, but just as Jacob Harberts did, he has managed to repair that vehicle, get himself back into contention. And if you like what you see, again, it's going to be a chase cutoff race for all of the area series this week. Trucks tomorrow, in the Florida State Builders Pro Series on Thursday. So if you like what you see here today, stay tuned. We have 2 more chaotic races to cement our chase lineups. But with 3 wide, Logan Helton, where did he come from? He's leading the top of the charge. I think he led a lap earlier, but now he's going for more. But now Justin Anasogak talked about Jake Nichols. And now Anasogak to the bottom. That might put Jake Nichols in position to lead through the middle lane. But now Logan Helton has too good of a head of steam up top.
Yeah, Van Drugman came up again and got in front of Brad Slaughter there in the number 8 once more. So I'm not sure if Brad's really too thrilled about that. He's still trying to find some way to get around the 56, but to no avail. Drugman's not giving up that outside lane. Brad's not going to go to the bottom either. And Logan Helen's just hoping this continues, as the outside lane is the most solid of the bunch. David Brown leading his way through the middle of that number 83. And then on the bottom, it's just Anasogak in the 69. Well, looks like Brad's going to bite. He's going to go down to the bottom and give Logan Helen a run for his money.
And one other thing I want to point out for these drivers, this is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. As someone who's done this on iRacing, maybe you're not at this level at a 5,000 SOF with this much on the line. This can be mentally exhausting, being this close, constantly just looking around, processing what to do, making these razor-thin moves. These drivers are not just turning left with their fingertips. This is breathtaking white-knuckle racing, even in the simulator form. So you got to give credit where credit is due here. We are now at 40 laps to go. We still have everyone in the lead draft. 4 drivers out of the race: Groner, Boyd, Bradshaw, and Pancari. The other 34 drivers still within this lead draft. And we are still 2-3 wide. Go in our YouTube chat. Let us know what you think your lead change count's going to be at the end of this race. Whoever gets closest, whoever gets it on the nose, we'll send a set of stickers to via PTR TV. That number is going to be high. May have another one, David Brown. I don't know if he got it at the stripe, but it was pretty close.
Yeah, he's coming through on the bottom now. He was leading that middle lane and is able to put himself in a good spot leading that bottom lane. Van Drugman again. Well, that's a little bit too low for the bottom. That was the apron, but he's keeping it going. Brad Slaughter, he jumped up to the lead. He had a little sniff of it and said, all right, I'm done. And he is dropped outside the top 20. Oh, Drugman hard into the wall. That's going to bring out the yellow. He's spinning upside down through the banks of 3 and 4.
That, I will tell you, with almost certainty, that was some kind of connection issue, and that was one of the gnarliest wrecks I've seen in quite some time here on the service. But I'm 96% positive there was some temporary connection issue, and there it is right there. You could tell because he's not in the world, and then he was. And when he was, there was just no reaction time by anybody else to be able to evade. I think Anna Sogak may have had a really good look at this, so we'll check it out from his perspective here. Now coming down the back, all is normal, all is normal. Now here's the scary part.
Yeah, I mean, just nothing Justin could have done there. He just appeared and was further to the left and in a bad spot going in the corner, and I mean a vicious hit for that 56. He went tumbling, spinning like a top, and flipped back on the all fours, but that's going to take him out of the race.
Now, luckily for Van Drugman, he is obviously in the chase. Keep wanting to call it playoffs, but he is in the chase with plenty to spare. Of course, here with the points coming into today, Van Drugman had 82. I don't know what the mathematical maximum is here. Probably in the mid-40s, but perhaps someone will correct us on that. But let's take a look at some of our drivers who were on the cut line here. I don't think Connor Horn was here, if I'm not mistaken. Is he? I don't think he is. So
I don't believe he is either.
So he would get bumped out. Where's Talmadge right now? Is he here?
I believe he is here.
So obviously going to follow that, but now we have a bunch of drivers coming in for, this is 38 to go, be 36 at the stripe. This should be enough to make it to the end on fuel. So I imagine this could be the last stop. Not sure if tires will mean enough to want to put on for the rest of the race. I doubt it. But because we have some fuel-only stops, it does get a little chaotic exiting the pits with some drivers yet to pit, some drivers still turning in, some drivers turning out.
Yeah, and this is going to bring the aggression level back up after everybody's been calmed down from the chaos that's ensued. So, looks like, I believe Logan Helton's going to be the leader.
Max Service, actually, interestingly, is our race leader right now. And let's take a look at his pit road situation here. So he pitted with everybody else, but oh, he didn't actually stop, interestingly enough. he just drove through the pits. Not sure what led to that situation, but that's why he's up front right now. Just to, again, as we always like to do, just helping out some of the other partners here with area. We don't have a Rick's Hot Sauce car here today. We will have a truck tomorrow, presumably that Ryan Swan races the truck race. But you can head to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces from South Florida, Lokahatchee Classic Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, and South Peach Heat. Of course, they will be sponsoring the $100 for the Rookie of the Year prize in this very Cup series, rickshotsauce.com.
Well, getting closer towards the end of this one. Service will go down and get some service for his vehicle. So now Logan Helton will be the leader. David Brown second. Brad Slaughter's coming back in. I'm not sure if he actually had damage from that with Van Drugman spinning and flipping in front of him. I think he might have clipped him, but could be topping off on fuel.
So, again, I don't know the exact numbers, but what we do know, and you've already alluded to, Marin missing his pits. That's a rare mistake, although low stakes at this point. You did talk there, Hunter, about, I think, one of these races or multiple needing green-white checkers. So I believe 38, 40 laps, we're probably going to be pushing the fuel pretty tight-ish to the end, topping off and maybe having a green-white checker or two in the bag. Could prove pivotal.
Indeed. We see Beckner there.
Saving.
Gets preserving fuel on the apron.
Shortening this
There's
place
still a possibility. We get a yellow within the next 10, 20 laps of this one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what we were seeing here with 30, 40, 50, 60 to go, again, turn the stakes up to, another 35, 40% higher. I mean, we saw some super risky moves, and now we see drivers all over the place. Now, Van Drugman was one of the ones to make some of the most aggressive moves. He is out of the race, but that's not to say he was the only one making those moves. We do have drivers who are looking to get a win, who haven't seen victory lane, if ever. David Brown up there, Frankie Barroso in the top 10. Travis Beckner looking to get back into victory lane. I don't think he's done so in 2026 amongst any of the series, if memory serves. So this is a good opportunity for some of those drivers who don't get to win maybe at Charlotte or Atlanta or Kansas or Richmond. This is a chance for some drivers to break through, and they want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're not in the chase picture, just trying to win is the best possible case scenario for you. Logan Helton, though, he is going to be restarting as the leader. He's top 5 in points. And then David Brown, I'm looking at him. He's 22nd in points. So he's in a position where points really doesn't matter. Got to get the win somehow, some way. Still a lot of time left, though, as he's going to struggle on the inside lane. And once again, the outside lane, led by Logan Helton, gets going on the restart.
Typically, if you get going on the restart, usually that means you're going to fall back once you get up to speed because that run will eat you alive. But actually not so much the case here. That outside just not going anywhere. But that's going to be Dylan Alt, I believe, trying to give the push to the back of Anna Sogak. But Travis Beckner now moving to the top of the track to the outside, side by side with Brown. Now getting a whiff of the right rear of Logan Helton, but the outside not quite there yet. Here comes the push on the inside. And again, Jake Nichols on a massive recovery tour. He's fixed enough to get up front. Is he fixed enough to be able to lead this race? We may find out shortly.
Yeah, Travis Beckner working on that second lane. He's got help from the 69 of Anna Sogak behind him. Still Logan Helton leading the way on the bottom. David Brown has actually caught back up to him. And Jake Nichols, we mentioned him, he was caught up in an incident earlier and has put himself inside the top 5 now. And again, looking to put himself in an even better spot, trying to become the points leader after this one's all said and done from Talladega. He's got Frankie Barroso behind him. We mentioned that he was in that pack that was seconds and seconds behind the main one, and was able to rally the troops and get himself in a decent showing inside the top 10.
That used to be that used to be an intentional strategy run a lot more back in the day. I remember as an old guy in the late 90s as David Brown going for the lead. Late 90s, early 2000s, you'd find Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett. They would run in the back, let them all wreck, and then take advantage of the situation late in the race. It used to be a strategy in this day and age with stage points in the real world. It's not so much executed, but here in area, you get no stages, no backup cars. Sometimes you want to just ride until it matters. But these drivers today have been going 100% the whole time. A couple wrecks, maybe 2-3 cars here at a time. But as you've said a few times, Hunter, we haven't had any absolutely debilitating wrecks that have taken out 80% of the field until maybe now.
And a Sogak around, and
Drew Jua around.
96 is going to spin. Tyler Nichols had a little drift, but, well, anticlimactic timing there, Corey.
Yeah, call that the old commentator curse, but again, I said it. We still haven't seen the cataclysmic race ender, and can still say we haven't. Now let's see. Let's push from alt. Logan Helton getting a big contact there. John Forbes. Then you saw Drew Jua back of the pack there. So there are a few drivers who may need some further work in the pits. John Forbes, again, he got some good front end damage there. You can see that number 70. That splitter is not in ideal shape, but given what we've seen today with drivers being able to recover from these kind of incidents, I'm not too worried for him.
No, there's still plenty of time left to figure a way out to get towards the front. Brad Slaughter, though, has finally put himself in a good spot. Doesn't have Van Druckmann to give him the block on the outside lane anymore, so he's up to second now. There is the 30 of Jeremy Miller.
Yeah, Miller has been up front a few times here today, and he's also been in some precarious spots, but finds himself right now where he wants to be, or maybe where he not. Sorry, poor English. Maybe where he doesn't want to be, because as we've said, we still really don't have the answer as to where you want to be in this race. Do you want to be on the last lap? Do you want to be even in the top 5? I mean, I have reason to believe you might not, but let's see if anybody comes into the pits to top off right now. Not seeing it here. I'm sure somebody will. There's Helton, Barroso. Now, most of these drivers were loosely involved in the wreck, but the back of the field, I think, just coming in just to get that additional fuel and maybe finishing off any last-second repairs.
Yeah, very well could be. There's a Christian DeBoer. Is he still on the track? Not even sure how many laps down he is, if he is any.
Jeremy Miller up front right now, and David Brown in second, Brad Slaughter third, Jake Nichols fourth, Sebastian Marin fifth. Now, Sebastian hasn't really been, I mean, this isn't really saying anything, but in the last stint, he hasn't been one of the slicers and dicers for the lead. Now, that could be circumstantial. It could just be maybe just taking a little bit less risks, knowing what could be at play here, could be at stake. Still only have 4 official drivers out of the race. Van Druckmann all but retired. He hasn't formally taken it behind the wall, but he's at now, I think, 14 minutes behind the wall. So there's always the chance that, you know, we have a wreck, somebody retires from the race, and you might be able to get 1 or 2 spots via attrition. But again, Van Druckmann well solidified into our chase starting next week at, or rather in, is it next week or in 2 weeks, at Chicagoland?
I can get that answer for you right now.
No, pardon me, next week, July 6th, we will be at Chicagoland for all 3 series. We will be doing triple headers up until race number 16, where we will have the last separate week of races. Of Of course, our chase in the Cup Series be Chicago, Bristol, Charlotte, Richmond, and then Auto Club. And the only week where we will not have a triple header will be race 16. We'll be here at Richmond for the Cup Series, but we will be headed to North Wilkesboro for race number 16. And the trucks in the Florida State Builders Pro Series. So that will be an interesting way to help solidify our championship. But let's see what happens coming to presumably 1 to green with 30 to go. Be 29 to go at the stripe.
Jeremy Miller going to be the leader this time through. He's going to choose the outside lane. Going to get partnered up with Jake Nichols there in the 73. Almost said teammates. They're not teammates. Solar Flare for Jake Nichols, and then 609 for Jeremy Miller. But mention that Jeremy Miller, he almost won Area 500 back in Season 7, was 1/1000th shy of doing so, but he was able to win the season opener for the trucks at Daytona, able to get that done, and still looking to get that Cup win on his resume here in the area. And like I mentioned, he'll be in the truck race tomorrow trying to sweep the super speedways. He's had a phenomenal season there, third in the point standings, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s to his name. Not sure if he'll be able to get the Garrett Conrath, though, but you'll have to tune in tomorrow night to be able to judge that for yourself and witness firsthand if Jeremy Miller can do so. But still has a lot left to put on the table tonight. He'll be coming to 30 to go, leading the field. David Brown mentioned him. He's outside the top 20 in points and quite a ways down. He is 22nd. So, really looking for wins here if you're David Brown. Brad Slaughter as well. He's going to be restarting third on that inside lane. Brad, only a couple races to his name this season. And again, he knows how to get it done at the super speedways. He's won Area 500 before. Believe he's won at Talladega before in the trucks, but has yet to do so. Actually, no, he's won in the Cup here before. Almost forgot it was Season 1. It was so long ago, Corey. But Brad Slaughter looking to get another win here at Talladega on the Cup side of things. But he'll have to get through David Brown, Jeremy Miller, and keep others at bay, coming to 30 to go here at the line.
A race coming into the final third here, just under a half hour. Green flag racing to decide our race number 12. Back on the loud pedal, Jeremy Miller with the whole shot from the high lane. He'll stay up there with Jake Nichols, who's now temporarily P2 with the push from Travis Beckner. Cole Hooper. Is that Cole Hooper? I'm trying to make out who that black and blue car is up there. I don't think we've talked about that. It is Cole Hooper.
It's Cole Hooper. He had a moment there with his internet. I think you were about to get to it, but he was blanking in and out a lot. I think he was out for 2 laps, and then he appeared and was behind the pack, and now he's in the top 5.
The show is if you're not backwards, if you're not on your lid, you're still in it. And now he's going to go to the bottom of the track. He's going to pick up David Brown, who also has Brad Slaughter, who also has Garrett Grant. We saw Joseph Causey as well. He's up there behind Sebastian Marin. Causey led himself a lap here on the day. Still waiting for David Weishart to break out of the shell and try to get one of those points on the board there in that 29. So a lot of time here to go. Now we're back to 3 wide. Jua and Helton trying to get the 3 wide going, and we also have it going on up front.
And Jeremy Miller and Jake Nichols going to be door-to-door for the lead now. Seth Knoll. Here comes Logan Helton with Drew Jua. Huge run on that outside lane. Jeremy Miller's getting shoved into the middle now. Marin was trying to go low. Jake Nichols leading the way through with Seth Knoll behind him. There's the 88 of Joseph Causey. We've mentioned his name before. He's jumped up to the lead, trying to get back there. Logan Helton with an amazing run to get back inside the top 5. On board with the 1 of Knoll now, trying to keep the 73 of Jake Nichols leading. And behind them, Travis Beckner leading the bottom.
And that is Jeremy Miller, I think, meat in the sandwich right now. Travis Beckner to the bottom of the track, 3 wide up on the 3rd lane. That's the old Dale Jr. mid-2000s lane. And now they're going to blend down as Helton goes into the middle That gives Joseph Causey full command of the top. No, it doesn't. Helton goes up there to take the run to try to get to the outside, and he will successfully do that to Jake Nichols, but will it get to a cleared pass? They're going to go to the bottom. Jeremy Miller squeezing in the sandwich. That's Travis Beckner bouncing off the apron. Push from Sebastian Marin. We all stay in the proper direction.
Yeah, it is getting really dicey up front. Jeremy Miller trying to put himself in a better spot, and it's another close call there for him. Logan Helton's going to lead this time at the line. That inside lane is really rolling, getting really close to that yellow line, but Beckner in second, ever so slightly from Sebastian Marin, keeping him in running order in third. Cole Hooper in fourth, and then that outside lane, Seth Knoll starting to fall back just a tad bit. Jake Nichols in the middle lane now, gonna stay in line. Didn't know if he'd go up or not, but here comes Marin looking low for the lead into 3.
Just said earlier, Marin for the second stage of this race hasn't been going for the lead like he was in the first segment. Well, now it matters. Now the time is starting to tick where you want to solidify yourself up front here with 26 laps to go. Still feels like an eternity, however, at Talladega with how many leaders we've had, how many lead changes. Again, let us know what you think your guess is. We'll summarize it later and see who gets the closest number there for lead changes here in the VAAC Esports 250. But now Helton right to the back bumper of the 66. Here comes the pushes. Helton to, that's Cole Hooper leading on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's Seth Knoll far back on that third lane.
Yeah, Seth Knoll has really fallen off there with Joseph Causey and John Forbes Jr. Brad Slaughter with a bit of a moment there on the bottom into turn 3. Corralled it back together. There's the 7 of James Skiley. I don't think we've mentioned his name since the beginning of the race when he was caught up in that lap 1 wreck, but quietly stayed in contention. He's outside the top 10, running in the 13th spot, about to be 12th now, but he's had a bit of an eventful race, and he's trying to get himself towards the end of it to get himself in a good shot at it. But up front, it's the 66 of Sebastian Marin leading his way through. Logan Helton now with Beckner and Jake Nichols in that middle lane. And then fifth is a toss-up between Cole Hooper and Jeremy Miller.
Sebastian Marin here in the Cup Series. He's only missed one race on the season, back in the 10th place in the points. Only has one win here in the Cup Series. He's had a lot more opportunity, but Van Drugman has had a lot of late race opportunities work in his favor, and Sebastian not getting the wins that maybe he should have had, trying to cement one here, but the hardest one to cement a win at is Talladega, with everyone having all but an equal shot here. He's going to go right to the top, take the run off of Helton. Travis Beckner to the bottom of the track with the push from Jake Nichols. Travis Beckner been very competitive here. In fact, I guess he hasn't been that competitive. He's been making moves, but he still hasn't let out the stripe yet.
No, he's been so close, though, very close to doing so in tonight's race, but running in that middle lane, leading it through, trying to get some sort of momentum to go his way, or trying to see if someone from up front can go down and maybe get in his line of draft. But below him now is Cole Hooper. The inside lane starting to get momentum, and Seth Knoll gonna bring the one down to the middle. Same with Jeremy Miller. And now Beckner's got a little bit of momentum right in front of him to give a little toe to that draft, and Jeremy Miller at the line will lead this lap.
And this is just the perspective from David Weishart. He is 11th, 10th right now, and he's only about 2/10 off the lead. Some contact was made. You felt that. You saw that on that camera shot. Not sure which side it came from, but I saw something. It's just crazy to believe at any other track. If you said you were within a second of the leader, you'd say you're doing something right. If you were within a second of the leader, you'd be back in 28th spot right now. That is how tightly consolidated this pack is. Everybody who's on the racetrack right now is basically in this lead draft. The only exception being the number 96 of Drew Jua, who is 4 laps down off, and no!
Oh, there we go! Big wreck. They're coming back down in front of the field. Slaughter's in it. Jeremy Miller's in it. A number of guys collected as the yellow flies again from Talladega.
That may be the biggest one we've had here tonight. Saw Sebastian Marin involved in it as well. And that right front, as we like to say here in PTR TV, is not right fronting. And whether it makes it back to the pits in one piece or not, we'll find out. Try to dissect some of how that happened. Again, surprised that we've made it this far. Let's try to dissect this.
Happened right in front of the leaders, like right in front of everyone.
Knoll to the bottom, push from Beckner, and the push from Beckner perhaps from Knoll into the right rear of Hooper. That's the best that I can deduce there. Hooper just kind of got the left rear, or rather right reared, I think, off of that push. There's the push. So we'll see what admin decides to call there. I mean, I would assume the pusher would probably get the points for that one. There's Harberts, all that work to repair the car, and Slaughter, Anna Sogak, and Jacob Bell. Oh, Bell just has to get a little squeeze play there to get through that. But Seth Berger has gotten through the Red Sea there and found himself P1.
Yeah, seas kind of parted, and now we're going to see them part again. Some guys coming down pit road, others electing to stay out.
I will be surprised if in about probably 2 to 3 minutes of repair time, if that 96, whoa, apparently it's not stopping, but wow. I wonder if that has to do with the damage, but I will be surprised in about 2 minutes of probably repair time if they're going to be able to get that car fixed enough, but we'll find out. Drew Jua getting one of his laps back. That's down to 3. Now, I think by far that is the biggest wreck we've seen here on the evening. But we'll take this opportunity here while we are under caution to go to our first and only commercial break here of the race. We'll be back with you in about 2 minutes for the restart. All right, we are back here on PTR TV for the Area Cup Series, brought to you by the Studio Temporary, round number 12 here in the VAAC Esports 250 here, getting ready for a restart, which is coming down with sub 20 laps to go. Just had our biggest wreck of the day, and we'll be heading back to a restart and seeing who has recovered, who will be struggling, and who will put it in victory circle. Seth Berger going to be the leader in charge here, with the push from David Weishart back on the loud pedal.
Yeah, once again, that outside lane getting a phenomenal jump. Seth Berger, David Weishart. Both guys that are looking to get wins on the year. It's been a while since we've seen David Weishart in victory lane. Seth Berger, don't believe he's won at all in any of the area series, but he's got to hold off the 63 of Logan Helton, and those two right now, two-car tangoing into turn 3.
And Bryce Senesac, when was the last time we really discussed his name? Well, we'll discuss him right now. Reese Schaefer, I don't think we've talked about him all day. There's Garrett Grant now with that wreck. Some of the drivers who were in the back who were able to evade, able to work their way through. You can see Jacob Bell, middle of the sandwich. Also Douglas Newbigging. So now not just a end of the race coming. Now we have some drivers we haven't spoken of all day getting themselves here to the front when it matters.
Indeed, the laps are dwindling. The contenders are somewhat fading through those pit stops, because now we've got a whole bunch of new faces up here. Like mentioned, Seth Berger, haven't really talked about him much. Reese Schaefer has joined into the party. Here comes Max Service on the outside lane, teammate to Seth Berger there in that 77 car. Haven't mentioned him, but Service has a few names that we have seen up here tonight. Joseph Causey, Dylan Alt, Brad Slaughter, the one of Seth Knoll, the 69 of Anna Sogak up there. They're all trying to make their way back to the front, trying to get through. Logan Helton, though, leading the way with 17 laps to go.
And of course, for you Sebastian Marin fans, he did pull it behind the wall. You saw how much damage he had, not able to get it competitively repaired in time. So that number 66 will still be presumably in the chase via the wild card, but not with the momentum he wants to have. But Logan Helton up front right now. Travis Beckner still hasn't led a lap. He's kind of been the pusher that you want to have behind you, but he hasn't had the opportunity to pull out a line and lead. Here's Joseph Causey. I believe he's led a lap here today. There goes the 81 of Service, nearly chopping off right in front of the 71, rather the 77 of Seth Berger. Here's Travis Beckner. He wants to break the goose egg and lead a lap. Does he have enough help to get it at the stripe?
Oh, he's going to have a big bump from Reese Schaefer there, and it will be just enough to get in front of Logan Helton. I think 6/1000ths of a second separating the top two that time through. That is the first lap led from Beckner today, but he wants to lead the most important one, though, and he's got a number of laps to do so. Still a lot of time here at Talladega. Logan Helton with Joseph Causey there in that middle lane, and on the bottom we see Reese Schaefer pushing that 28. He has a dog named, what is that?
Arlo, that is massively overweight.
40 pounds overweight. So he's trying to get a win there for Arlo and the Schaefer family there. He's inside the top 5, having a solid showing there, trying to get Travis Beckner a good shove with Garrett Grant behind him. We mentioned him a little bit earlier, in this race. He's looking to finally break through and break that winless streak in the area. Area's Ironman, the most starts out of anyone in any of the area series. That number 5 car running inside the top 10.
I actually used to run with Garrett Grant and Weishart back in the day, about 2017-ish. There was a league called Rivalry Racing based on college football teams in the trucks. We used to broadcast it here on PTR TV. That was where I learned and raced with for a brief time. Weishart and Garrett Grant, just the friendships, the connections you make here on iRacing, especially myself, who's been on this service since before some of you guys have been born in 2008. But Logan Helton now in the lead. We're coming to crunch time. 15 coming to 14 to go. Put your driver of choice in chat. Who is your pick? Really, anybody you see in this picture, anybody in this blob has every potential to win this race. So taking your pick is just as good as taking the lottery right now. Thus far, John Forbes, the pole sitter, he has brief control of this race. I don't even know if he's led a lap here today. He's led 6 of them, pardon me. And now he's trying to get 6 to 7. And that's a big block by Helton to the bottom.
Yeah, that was an interesting block to say the least. Meanwhile, down low, Dylan Alt coming to the lead. John Forbes Jr. losing that top spot. Seth Knoll in second now. He's given the 47 that shove that he needs. Almost went bad there, trying to block him. Now the one, he's not going to have a run. Logan Helton, though, is going to take it to the outside, and John Forbes Jr. going to go with him. Dylan Alt's going to block with 13 remaining from Talladega.
Dylan Alt seeming to have control. You know, if you're able to read the runs ahead of time, you can kind of take the momentum away before it fully comes to fruition, or at least you can do your best to do so. But I'll tell you, Alt can do some good top-to-bottom moves. We've seen that in the area 500. We saw that in the area Daytona preliminary races. But one of the best drivers here today at making solo passes, reading the draft, pulling out a line by himself has been that one car. And he's in position to where he can do some stuff that I haven't seen others do here today, but he's starting to fall back on that inside lane.
Yeah, Travis Beckner trying to get him a good shove with a Reese Schaefer there on the bottom, trying to get that inside lane going. But for now, it's the middle and the top lanes that are prevailing here. Dylan Alt leading through once more. Logan Helton's going to jump to the outside now, have a run. It won't be blocked. He'll have Joseph Causey behind him now, trying to get him the shove that he needs to propel himself into the lead, and he will down the backstretch.
Logan Helton, who is another one that has been very good at making that top work. Seth Berger, high to low, gets the run to the bottom. Will get the run and push from Dylan Alt. That will stagnate the run that the 22 of Brandon Watkins has, that In-N-Out Burger Mustang. He'll fall behind into the clutches of Joseph Causey and Jeremy Miller. And don't count out that 30. We saw him earlier getting some massive pushes on that third lane. And there goes Dylan Alt to the top of the track. Gets the push from the 22. And now Logan Helton's going to have to make a move. He's going to take the run from the 47. That's going to give him the push. And Joseph Causey trying to go with the lead with the push from Berger.
Well, Seth Berger indecisive there. Didn't know what he wanted to do. If he wanted to go middle or go to the bottom, but he's going to go middle. I think Max Service was waiting for him to go low, but unfortunately for him, he's going to fall towards the back. It's the outside lane now that's controlling everything, although we're starting to get stacked up here on that top groove. Middle lane starting to come back with Causey. Max Service leading the way on the bottom. He's just inside the top 15, trying to keep himself in contention here, but it's still Logan Helton leading the way through. Dylan Alt, Brandon Watkins, second and third with 10 to go.
Interestingly enough here, the top of the racetrack becoming the OP line. You're not really seeing any progress down there to the bottom of the racetrack. Everyone wants to run right up there in that old school Dale Jr. lane, and you can see Causey trying to make the middle work. You can see on the bottom, that's Max Service trying to make the bottom, but all the momentum is up there. There's Travis Beckner going bottom to middle, trying to squeeze his way up top, doesn't have the run. Who is going to block down to the bottom? Who is going to take the momentum off of Service, who now has it from the push from Causey and Beckner?
Yeah, Service now leading the middle lane all of a sudden. He was leading that bottom, but was able to get himself into the middle. Now he's back up towards the top 5. Seth Knoll back in front of the middle lane. He was fading a lot, but he's back here. 9 to go. Going at it with the 63 of Logan Helton, trying to get the lead from him. There's Dylan Knoll giving the shove to the 63 into the backstretch.
Coming off the corner here, single-digit laps remaining here as just about everybody is in the lead draft. Jacob Harbert's the only one who's lost the draft. 31 drivers are in this mess, and we see a little contact back there. I think that may have been in the realm of Jeremy Miller, who's all the way on that outside lane, somewhere in the mix to the 20th position. But Logan Helton up front, we saw Max Service making... he's been up and down through the field, as most has, but now in second, Seth Knoll, Travis Beckner, Dylan Alt, and don't count out Reese Schaefer in that John Deere S car to the bottom of the racetrack here, coming to now 8 laps to go in the VAAC Esports 250.
Yeah, it's really starting to get chaotic up towards those outer 2 lanes. The inside lane, they've been coming and going, but really have not been able to stay consistent like the outside in the middle lane. Dylan Alt looking for his 3rd win of the year. He's trying to get that done at Talladega, but he's got a number of laps left and a number of competitors trying to get around him, like Brandon Watkins. He's going to go low, leave that bottom lane. Brad Slaughter now going to be the one to give the shoves to the 47.
Whoa,
and
Service.
There goes Max Service, almost losing it, keeping it straight. And it's Dylan Alt and Brandon Watkins door to door for the top spot with 7 to go.
Dylan Alt up front right now, going all the way up high. Brad Slaughter tried to make a move, and it got cut off there to the top of the racetrack. Big push coming. But Brandon Watkins, I could have swore he was just in about 10th to 15th, but now finds himself going for the lead. That's Drew Jua 3 laps down. He is going to blend out, presumably staying to the apron. The safe and gentleman move to make, not affecting the outcome of the race there in that 96 car. But right now we have Brad Slaughter in good position with the push from Helton. That's a 22 of Watkins push to the apron. That'll slow up a lot of the field, but it will give Slaughter the lead temporarily.
That's exactly what he needs. He needs to hold on to that lead. Coming to 6 laps to go. Travis Beckner jumping up in the 3rd, but in between them, Logan Helton in the 63, giving the shove to Brad Slaughter. Beckner with the shove from Dylan Alt in the 47. The top 3 clear to go low if they want to. Car blinking, that's the 77 of Seth Berger. And Brad Slaughter still leading the way down the back.
6 laps to go, a matter of 5 minutes. Will we finish under green? Will we have green-white checkers? Everybody should have fuel. They are 4 wide here in the back of the pack. That is utter danger, but Talladega wide enough that you can kind of get away with 4 wide. Big push, center of the corner. Alt to Helton. Helton hanging on like a brick there. No wiggle. Able to take that push. Outside lane not formed up. Slaughter needs a little more help than he's getting from Beckner and Forbes.
Yeah, 5 laps to go. Alt's going to go to the outside now. Slaughter is going to be pushing him all the way up top. There's the 30 of Jeremy Miller. We know how good he is when he's got someone behind him. The 69 of Minnesota coming through. No, he's going to leave him for the 70. And the 1 of Knoll coming across the nose of John Forbes Jr. there. Almost had some calamity, but we're keeping it straight. And there's the 1 of Knoll just going the wrong direction at the wrong time.
Yeah, at this point in the race, you got to take the risks, and sometimes they'll pay off, other times they will not. But as we've said, anybody really in this pack has a chance to win. I think if you want the ultimate chance to win, you got to be in the top 10, maybe top 15. Where do you want to be coming to 2 to go? Where do you want to be coming to 1 to go? These are the questions that I honestly, after 80 some odd laps, don't have an answer to. But now we're on 4 laps to go here in the VAAC Esports 250. Dylan Alt seems to be able to control most of the runs, but I say most because someone's going to take a stab at it, and we'll see what he does when that happens.
And for now, it's Slaughter in second, pushing the 47 of Dylan Alt in front. John Forbes Jr. in third, but Beckner coming through on the middle. And now Slaughter is going to go low. The number 8 to the inside of the 47, and below them, the 88 and 77 are tandemed up, working together. And there's the 6 of Jacob Beldo with him. And there goes Berger to the inside.
He saves it somehow all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. Seth Berger saves it into the pits. He still has a car, but we do stay green. We'll see what happens to him, but it won't be of significance for the race win here with 3 to go. And it's still Dylan Alt, but now Joseph Causey with the push from the boss man here. Joseph Causey going for the lead. Can Jacob Bell, the league owner, put himself in victory lane here tonight?
He's going for it. He's going in that middle lane,
He's
and he's
in the
trying
front.
to block the 47 of Dylan Alt to do so. He's come so close to winning here in area in a number of tries, a number of series. He got robbed here back in Season 4, and he's leading, coming to 2 to go with Joseph Causey behind him, trying to block any lane that he can.
I mean, he's not driving a Pontiac, but he's trying to make that 6 as wide as it can get here. Coming to 2 to go. Here comes Helton. He can't stop that run. The bottom seems to have seized for now, but there's still time to recover. 2 laps to go. If we make it to the white, we get to the checkers. Getting to the white is the main point now. Logan Helton, the push from Alt. Then you have Seth Knoll behind, who has been one of the best movers here today. Down the back straightaway. Let's see if we can find Barney with the white flag.
Inside lane has faded quick. The 6, oh, we got cars touching. Jacob Bell all the way low. Coming back up, and we're all spread out all of a sudden for the final lap.
Well, that win is not going to happen for the boss man. Oh, that wreck is to the inside. That's Swan and Cabot. That's below the apron. That should not affect the race. Coming to the flag. Barney has the flag. We're going to finish this one, Hunter.
Absolutely, we will. The final lap here from Talladega, and Logan Helton's leading the way, and blocks are being made, and cars are being hit. It's Logan Helton and Seth Knoll, 1-2, trying to drive away from everybody. And everybody else behind trying to gather the run down the back.
This is one of the riskiest things. Now we're spread out, which means the runs are going to come quickly. John Forbes, big wreck in the back. But here comes Seth Knoll to the bottom. Logan Helton cannot block it. There's Brad Slaughter. He's going to give the push to the 63. Jeremy Miller, massive push. Big jug. Who is going to come out on top? Douglas Newbigging. He is sideways. Who is now leading?
It's Caudill. It's Josh Caudill. He's making his way through as they're wrecking big. Joseph Causey trying to get a run through the tri-oval. It won't be enough. Josh Caudill's going to win at Talladega.
Was that on your bingo card? I'm going to probably say no. But Josh Caudill ended up getting through the mess, getting through the chaos. I said anybody in the lead pack could win this race. And by golly, it happened.
I think he was 7th in turn 4 when that wreck happened. I think he was 7th, and he went through on the bottom. He followed the tire tracks of Douglas Newbigging. I thought for sure Douglas Newbigging was going to have a good run at it, but saw the blocks that were being made up front, and this is the POV from the winning driver.
You see, we're wrecking on the bottom. That reminds me of Matt Kenseth in 2014, I want to say. Just went to the bottom. You saw big junk, and then you end up seeing the run to the checkers. Travis Beckner ended up having a massive ride there in that number 28. Just get a brief look at that, but as everyone stacks up, there's Seth Knoll and blending back up the track. He actually bounced to Travis Beckner, did David Weishart, who kept it clean all day until the last lap. But the driver who took advantage of the situation, who's burning it down here on the front stretch, none other than Josh Caudill in the aftermarket coffee Mustang. He'll get the victory here in the Chase cutoff race. Let's go and start our post-race show.
Yeah, that might be enough to put him inside the top 12. I'm not 100% sure, but it's really close. We have yet to receive official scoring yet, but Caudill gets the job done. 7th to 1st in the final turn to get the win. Joseph Causey in 2nd, Jake Nichols in 3rd, Watkins 4th, Ben Pierce with a solid top 5 showing. Max Service, Reese Schaefer, Jacob Bell, Hayden Swank, and James Scioli round out the top 10.
Second page results, Douglas Newbigging, who almost had himself the win there into turn 3. Garrett Grant, Dylan Alt, who was in very good position as well. Frankie Barroso, he was someone who needed a good run. Is that going to be enough? We'll find out. Anna Sobak, Nichols, Ryan Swan, John Forbes, Logan Helton, and Michael Curhan rounding out the top 20. We'll let the rest of them scroll on through here because we want to get to the post-race show. A lot to cover here. We'll see if we can get live points perhaps on the screen. Sebastian Marin again having that massive issue that he could not recover from here today. But we'll head to Victory Circle, where we will find a very happy and perhaps very surprised Josh Caudill with Hunter.
Yeah, finally caught up with Josh, the man of the hour. You were able to put yourself in the right spot. 7th to 1st in that last lap, last turn, able to come through with the win. Tell me how this feels.
Dude, I can't believe it. I've been so unlucky this season. Just to even have that opportunity was crazy. I gotta thank my teammates, man. They really helped me out. I can't believe it. I'm still in shock.
I'm still in shock too. I'm not sure if that's going to put you in to the top 12, and it actually does. But Dylan Alt going to be 20th though. But nonetheless, a phenomenal showing. You were able to come through when it mattered most, and just take it through that last lap, because it just seemed like everybody behind was going to wreck after they started wrecking up front. But you were able to put yourself in a good spot to come home with the win.
They got like super sideways and almost wrecked. I was able to get down to the bottom, and somehow the bottom just all of a sudden became really fast. And right there, I went from like 23rd to like top like 5 out of nowhere. It was crazy. But I was so committed to my teammate Douglas. He had a really good shot to win this race as well, and I was gonna stick with him. And then they just the paths cleared for me, man. I can't believe it. But I was able to come. I thought they were going to get back to me when I was by myself, but I just had enough space.
It was enough to get the job done. First career win in the area for you. Congrats on the win, Josh. Have a good night.
Hey, thank you, guys. First of all, I want to thank Aftermark Coffee, everything John Peel does, Lucky Duck Motorsports, all the guys on the team as well. They all helped me, and I can't thank them enough. Thank you guys for doing this broadcast. I hope that was exciting. I'm definitely going to watch that a few times back. And it's been a tough season, but just thanks to like everybody that helps me out.
And that is our race winner, Josh. Congrats, and we'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Appreciate y'all.
Now, second place, we got Joseph Causey. Joseph, been a couple years since I've been able to talk to you here on a podium on PTR TV. You made that number 88 look sporty here today, and what was your perspective of that last lap chaos?
Man, it was very interesting, to say the least. When I got damaged on right there at almost the end, and man, it wouldn't. I didn't have the drive to go forward no more. Like, I was just sitting, waiting what was gonna happen, and it did not. Well, I'd say it worked out pretty good sitting in P2, but you know, first loser, but. I'm gonna take it, you know, because that car was pretty damaged there at the end.
Yeah, stout field today. You can't complain in this race to finish second. I mean, we were talking all race, man, about placement and where you wanted to be at the end. I mean, it just seemed like you can go first to 10th and back to first in like 2 laps. Wrecks aside, where would the ideal place to be have been? Maybe come into the white flag or second. Where would your best place to be to have a shot at the win have been?
I would say somewhere in between 2nd to 5th, somewhere in there. I mean, that gives you the best shot. But I would say more in the back, because then you got a chance after, you know, the second makes a mistake, and then, you know, you got a chance in between that.
Well, obviously didn't matter. You evaded the wrecks. You held on with the damaged car. You got yourself on the podium. Any final words or thanks before we let you go, man?
Thanks, Burgard's and Burgard's team. Man, we finally got him in the interview booth for one of these races, and freaking flood. But I was supposed to be running the Chevy, but we was running a little bit late, and I picked the wrong car. But you know, we rode with Kyle, and you know, we got a second.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with running a rowdy scheme, brother. But congrats, and let's not be a stranger here in the booth.
Yes, sir. We're gonna keep trying to get up here.
All right, boss. We'll talk to you. And then rounding things through, Jake Nichols, a very chaotic day, up, down, and somehow rounds out on the podium.
Yeah, there's 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and an interview with Jake Nichols after an area race. Because I don't even know where to begin, Jake. How on earth were you able to get into the podium spot? Take me through that final lap.
It was a lot of chaos, both in my mirror, in front of me, next to me. It was just similar to last season. I think last season I was around 12th-ish at the white flag, and we just kind of maneuvered our way through the carnage in the tri-oval that time, and this time it was just in 3, and I mean, it was really everywhere. There was a wreck down the backstretch, there was a wreck, I think, on the front maybe, and then obviously the big one in 3 and 4, and I just held the wheel straight and hoped that we would find a hole, and we kind of worked out, and we had a good run and made a move last second there, but it's a great team points night. It's a shame LVV, they had a lot of problems with their guys getting involved in wrecks, and I mean, it's just the name of the game at Talladega, and there's still going to be tough competition throughout the rest of the season, but we have a really good gap, which is nice going into the chase, because we can just focus on trying to win the championship as drivers, and with that gap behind us, we should be good to go. But the Sim Speed Shop Ford Mustang had an up and down night. We got involved in some dumb incidents early that we couldn't really do much about, but we overcame, and overall had a great night.
Yeah, I'd say so. You moved up to second in the point standings. You finished 12 points back from James Scully for the top spot. But talking about Chicagoland, where the chase begins, you, Seth, and James, you're the only winners at that racetrack ever. So I think it's going to be some tough competition, not just for the chase, but also for Chicagoland. So give me your initial thoughts on going back to Chicagoland for the beginning of the chase. I'm
excited. Solar Flare, I feel like we're really good in the second half of the season. We find our own and get a lot of good runs and a lot of confidence, and keeping up with that, I think you'll see us up front a lot. We work great together as a team, and we're all three, really all 4 competitive. Even with Philip, we're really more than just 4. We have 4 main cars, but we still have affiliates and whatnot and reserves. So as a unit, I think we're really looking forward to the next 5 races here. I think it's really good tracks for Solar Flare in general, but I think we clutch up when it matters, and hopefully we can just stay out of trouble and use these advantages to being first, second, and third in points going in, and just lay it down on everybody and try to bring home another championship to Solar Flare.
Well, you heard it from the man himself. He's going to be contending for another championship and area competition this season. Starts next week at Chicagoland. Congrats, Jake, on the 3rd place finish.
Thank you.
Well, we didn't actually get to go over it, Hunter, but just for the giggles and the funs of life, what do you think our lead change number was here today in the VAAC Esports 250?
I did put in the YouTube chat earlier 69 for different lead changes. I have yet to look at the actual number.
Well, in a 94-lap race, 44 lead changes. That's basically a lead change every 2 1/3 laps or so. So a very competitive race. What will we do tomorrow night in the Truck Series? Well, you'll have to stay tuned and find out. Again, like, share, comment, subscribe here on PTR TV. Consider following on Twitch, subscribing, $5 a month, double point custom emotes. Turn those double points into some free merch. But a beauty of a night. Again, we'll see who the final order is of our chase drivers, but you'll find that out soon. Stay tuned for next week and the rest of the races. That's Corey and Hunter signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.